and CEO are joining us on the show. Hi, Mr. Sen, good to be speaking with you. Let's start with that SSSG growth figure itself. 18%, quite commendable. But what about the way forward, given the gold prices are elevated, there's a lot of volatility around the world. What's your expectation with respect to how the SSSG growth will pan out in FY25?
So see, the SSSG growth for the coming year, there are challenges in terms of the gold pricing. The number of weddings that are there in this particular financial year is lower than compared to what it was in the last financial year, which led to the tremendous performance in Q4, where we grew by almost 25% in the retail sales year on year, when we know that Q4 is usually a much slower quarter. But we are being optimistic. We're already starting the wedding season, planning, purchases, campaigns, because what we are seeing right now is that consumers who are coming and buying, it is usually the large ticket size items which is selling more right now rather than the smaller ticket size items, which gives a signal that people who have their weddings in the end of the year, they are thinking that the gold prices can move up further. And there's uncertainty, so they have already started planning and buying their wedding jewelry. So that is how we are trying to look at it. In terms of percentage numbers, yes, if we've seen an 18% growth as SSSG in the previous financial year, I think going forward we should look at anything between 12 to 15% SSSG. And overall, in terms of the growth that we are expecting, yes, see, the global uncertainties are always there. The gold pricing movement is always there, but 15% on the lower side and around 18 to 20% on the higher side. That's the kind of growth that we are planning towards, be it on the top line as well as on the bottom line.
Right, Mr. Sen. Good afternoon. This is Winnie joining in the conversation as well. While you're saying 12 to 15% is the SSSG growth that you are looking at, what is the outlook in terms of overall that you have for the revenue growth, right? Because this time around you have managed to outperform your peers when you look at it. Is that something that you expect such strong growth to continue this year? This quarter we saw 40% uptick, 40% versus others reporting between 19 to 30%. What is your outlook there?
So again, I'll repeat myself that in terms of the overall growth, on a very optimistic level, we will look at 18 to 20% in top line for the whole year. And on a conservative basis, we will look at about 15%. While internally as a team, we will keep pushing for the best performance. But if you really look in terms of the expectations, because you need to understand what we are seeing is that as on date, Y on Y or whatever you might call it, we are having a growth rate of 18 to 20% in terms of value. Yes, in terms of volume, because of the gold price rise, we are not seeing so much of growth. But in terms of value-wise, we are already looking at around close to 20% growth as we finished Akshaya Tritiya season. So that's how we have to look at the risks and the challenges, for which a lower side 15% and the optimism would take us to 20%.
Sure. Mr. Sen, I remember when we had visited your store in Kolkata, one thing that really stood out was the fact the way you have that lightweight jewelry as well, which looks, of course, very premium in terms of its optics, but actually it's lightweight. Tell me which price point is working best for you right now? Which category of jewelry is outperforming right now?
So the average ticket value of the invoices that we are selling to the consumer is in the range of 75,000, approximately 2-3,000 here and there. And in terms of the unit price, the unit ticket size, it is around 43,000 rupees. So what is what we need to understand is, and compared to this average, what we are selling now, maybe a year ago it was about 8-10% lower, which means that people are buying. A gold price itself has gone up. So people's budget has not gone up to that extent. So whatever is the best case scenario for their side, they are putting in that much money and buying jewelry, plus the wedding jewelry sales that are happening, which is also taking the average ticket size higher.
Right, and Mr. Sen, let's also talk a bit in terms of overall your margins. How will that be seen moving going forward? And because of that increase in gold prices, I believe, consumers are shifting more towards diamond jewelry. Is that something you've noticed as well?
Yes, when you analyze the smaller ticket size items, which is in the range between, say, 20,000 to 50,000 rupees, the